Do you want to know how to take a losing campaign, turn it around, and produce profits with it by doubling your conversion rate with Facebook ads? Well, listen up. In this video, I'm going to break down just in a few minutes exactly how we do this from one offer to the next with consistency. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure to hop into my free Skool community, which you can see the link below this video, where I give direct feedback, direct support to anyone that's trying to problem solve media buying, whether it's affiliate, e-com, coaching, consulting, doesn't matter. I'm there to help you get better results with your digital marketing and with your Facebook ads specifically. Okay, so where did the idea from this video come from? Well, it's pretty simple. I was actually on a call with one of my past clients yesterday, and we looked at his ads, we looked at his stats, everything looked good, except once they hit the landing page, we saw what I saw immediately what the problem was. Okay, within moments, I could look at the data and say, well, the reason you're getting either no leads or super expensive leads is because you haven't optimized your funnel. And believe it or not, yes, we put a lot of time, energy, and attention into the creatives like you've heard me talk about in my other videos in this channel. But more importantly, a huge lever that you can actually have is by optimizing your own funnel. You can not only drive higher quality, train Facebook to an extent, the exact type of person you want, but more importantly, you can 2 to 3x the volume of conversions coming through by making some simple changes with consistency and over time, which I'm going to show you. So let's talk about how to double your conversion rate with Facebook ads. So what are some of the variables that we use, right? I'm going to break these down for you one at a time and give you some real examples, okay? But more importantly, these are in the exact order of priority and focus that we put. So this is where we find the biggest leverage will come from, okay? So first is going to be the headline, what they actually see on the landing page. The second is going to be the question you ask through each step of the funnel, or how you take them through the funnel. In this case, we're going to be using the example of a quiz style, which is more traditional for a lead gen or a pay-per-call, but same concept can actually be applied to e-commerce as well. And then last will be the number of questions you actually ask, how long the funnel is leading up to the page where they can either buy, opt in, or click to call. All of these will have a direct impact on what you're paying on your CPA or your cost per acquisition or action, whatever it is you're measuring. So the first is, let's take auto insurance as our example, okay? So this is a simple style landing page that we would use, okay? It's almost identical to exactly what we're doing actively, just FYI. And what we do is we run a simple split test. Literally, you can see the only thing different here is the headline itself. So on the left, we have Americans can get guaranteed bottom car insurance rates. It's duplicated, nothing else changes except that same headline. It's claim huge discounts on auto insurance plans, okay? You'd be shocked. Sometimes this makes zero difference and maybe both still get a click-through rate of 30% or 40% or 50%. Sometimes the one on the left might get 30% click-through rate. The one on the right might get a 50% click-through rate. And I'm going to show you some real examples of how this has a direct impact on your bottom line CPA, your cost per acquisition. Whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, this is going to have a direct impact on what you're paying for that action, okay? So there's other elements to this as well, which we'll touch on too. The questions we ask, how we ask them, those are all variables. And this is cool, like this should be exciting, because if you've got a really good offer and you have really good creatives, this is assumed, by the way, this is not a creative testing video, this is assuming you have a good offer that is proven, that you know people want, that has some predictability behind it from past performance, and creatives that are working with good click-through, good engagement, good CPMs, right? All the metrics that you want to see. Then how do we back into the exact outcome we want, right? So like I said, the first lever is going to be your headline, hands down, okay? And sometimes you do need to change the offer because maybe you split test 30, 40 different headlines, I don't know, 5 to 10 different questions on the first page, and you can't get that lift to where you have more people coming through that you need to hit your target numbers. Sometimes you need to change the offer completely, right? So maybe you change it from guaranteed low-cost insurance rates to $19 a month, right? Which is more of like a clickbaity saying that they could get it, but they don't find out until they actually complete the funnel, which is fine, assuming your buyers are happy with that, right? In my experience, it does work. right? So what we're gonna look at here is first a headline, okay? What I recommend you do is you get a software that, like what we use. Now in the past, we've historically used Go High Level, which is super slow. I do not recommend it for funnels. And then second is obviously gonna be Unbounce, which you've probably heard me talk about multiple times. Unbounce is great, except they kill you on pricing. So their pricing plans have a traffic limit. So if you're a high volume affiliate or you just have a lot of traffic coming through your funnels, it's not gonna make sense. Even on their more expensive upper tier plan, you're still going to be probably hit with overage charges. We're going to add a few $1,000s extra per month just for having the landing page, which doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, obviously going with a custom developed HTML or WordPress site is probably going to be the best thing long term. But the downside is it's more technical and complicated to run quick hit split tests. That's why I prefer to always optimize on a page builder and then convert over to HTML when we're ready, okay? But for example, with this page builder, Landingy, we just started using this recently. I recommend this more than Unbounce actually, not just because of the price point, because they have a lot of built-in features and customizations that we had to basically develop scripts for Unbounce to work the way we needed to. They have a lot of stuff built in, so highly recommend this. And here you can see we're running a simple split test, and it's exactly what you see here. So page one is split testing based on strictly the headline, nothing else. Everything else remains the same because we need to narrow down the variable that's driving the outcome, okay? In this case, we're looking for the highest click-through rate, right? So the second thing is how you ask the questions matters too, okay? What questions you ask and how you ask them. In this second scenario, you can see it's almost the same, but it's going to make a huge difference here because, or could at least, because you're asking basically a different question, okay? Or really, if you look at the second question on the right, it's implying that they have one car or more, but it's specific to insurance, right? So first on the left, we're literally just asking them if they own one or more cars, because obviously if they have a car, they most likely have car insurance. And then on the right, do you currently have car insurance? Maybe they own a car and they're uninsured, because I believe in some states in the US, you can pay a fee and literally drive without car insurance, which is kind of insane. But nonetheless, this can have a direct impact on the outcome. Maybe once again, on the left, you might get 40% click-through rate. On the right, you might get 60% click-through rate. Really just need a split test and to see and find out. Okay, but just another example. Remember, headline is going to be your main driver. This is going to be your second main driver, okay? And we split test all of these, typically focusing on one main test at a time. We don't want to split test like 10 things and have no idea what's actually backing out to the conversion rate and the CPA that we're seeing, right? So here's why this matters so much. Let me give you a real world example. So let's say on the top here is funnel number one and the bottom is funnel number two, okay? And all we're changing is the headline. This is why this is so powerful, right? So we're assuming we're running an ad that's getting us $1 cost per click. Probably not realistic for most offers with Facebook, but just for the sake of math, we're gonna use $1. On scenario number one, we're getting a 50% click-through rate, so that means it costs us about $2 to get someone to question number two. Whereas on the bottom, we're getting a 20% click-through rate, so that is costing us $5 to get a click through to the second page. That's a huge difference. We're gonna get, 2.5 times the volume of traffic through, more or less, assuming everything else is equal, from step 2, 3, until the offer conversion. Right? Which is insane. So just look at the numbers. Funnel number one at the top, $2 cost per click to get to the second page, 50% click-through rate on the second page. So that's a $4 cost per click to get to the third page. Once again, we're just assuming a simple math, 50% click-through rate, $8 to get to the offer page, 50% conversion rate, which would be great. $16 cost per acquisition, right? So if you're getting paid like $20 for this auto insurance offer, which would be phenomenal, let me know if you are, you will be absolutely crushing, right? Like you should be able to scale to the moon with that, right? It's not a massive margin, but it's a pretty healthy margin, okay? Scenario number two, it's not so good, and it all comes down to that first headline and the impact it has on the rest of the funnel and the outcome with your CPA. right? So we're assuming a 20% click-through rate, 80% are gonna abandon, okay? That leaves us with $5 cost per click to get to the second page, $10 cost per click to get to the third page, and then $20 cost per click just to hit the offer page. 50% conversion assumed. That means we're gonna spend $40 to get a conversion, a lead, a sale, whatever it is you're measuring on that offer page. But this is a huge difference. This is the difference between someone spending tens of thousands of dollars per day and making a bunch of money versus someone consistently losing money, okay? And yes, the ads have a direct impact on this, but that's only one piece of the equation, right? It influences the intent behind the action, behind someone actually purchasing or filling out the form or picking up the phone and calling, and the cost for the traffic. But ultimately, like, you could completely change the outcome of your business and whatever you're advertising if you just focus on these simple things. So every one of these variables can have a massive impact on your actual CPA, your cost per sale, your cost per purchase, your cost per lead, cost per call, whatever it is you're measuring, okay? But remember, these are your levers in the exact order. First is gonna be your headline. Second is gonna be the question you ask on each funnel step. Third is going to be the number of funnel steps and or number of questions you ask, right? So I found that sometimes there seems to be a tipping point where it becomes less beneficial to keep adding filters or questions, right? So maybe the sweet spot for your offer is at three of your top filters. Like with auto insurance, you want to know if they're under a certain age, maybe make a certain income, or if they're a homeowner, and then obviously that they're insured, right? So maybe those are your three questions you ask as an example. And if you add a fourth question in, I don't know, what range is your car insurance rate in right now? That you might just see people just drop off. Like they just don't feel like answering that, or they get distracted, or for whatever reason, they just don't click through. It's like you lose 20% more of your traffic from that page. That might be a net negative. So there is a sweet spot. There's no perfect formula to this. What I do recommend though is for most of your offers, add in some type of filtering funnel, whether it's e-commerce, lead gen, coaching, consulting. I used to be of the thought to get the cheapest lead through, and I now think of it as how do we get the cheapest traffic that's relevant to the type of person we're actually trying to reach for this offer, this product, this thing we're selling, right? Because if you could do that and you add some filters, it should be a net positive typically once you optimize it. So those extra filters, yes, you pay a little bit more for the lead, for the sale, but it's a more valuable sale and you're profitable in the process. And by split testing all of these elements in this exact order, you can completely change the game for yourself and your business. Hope this helps. I know we didn't really go into the ads manager for this, but the reality is this bigger picture thinking about how to produce an outcome with paid advertising. This is something people don't talk about. Okay, they focus a lot on the creatives, which is super important, but we could spend hours just talking about how to optimize a funnel. And a lot of times, like let's say the average cost per click for your offer after testing hundreds of creatives is $2 to $3 no matter what. You need to make, and you only get paid $10 a lead, you need to make that math work. And sometimes that's what optimizing the funnel is going to do the heavy lifting for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to not only subscribe if you haven't already, but like, comment, and share if you got some value from this. I would love to hear from you as well in the comments.